Are we live? I don't see
Are you
anything on the screen.
recording? Are you recording?
Hold on. See, it says
Don't
live.
Stop
Let's see if.
believing.
Hold on, dude.
I love doing that.
It says live. Ta-da! What's going on, legends? And this is a Wolfbite live stream for you guys. So this would be episode number 17. 17, right? 16. 17.
17.
I don't know how to count. Definitely, I don't know how to count. But episode number 17 for you guys. So we're doing it live together with Mr. Thick Nick and also Poonsauce McNasty.
Hey.
Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's not even doing his radio voice. What the hell is this?
So that being said, Corey, what you
Yeah.
vaping on?
Vaping on, huh? Okay, let's see. First, I got my Ethereum DNA 75 with the profile on top. And there, I got some transistors, honey crack.
Yo.
And then next, I got my timekeeper with the Pulse 24 on top.
God, that looks good.
And there, I got some Honey Don't by Transistor.
Nice.
And then, let's see, I got my LE Dreamer with the Goon 1.5 on top. In there with the matchy, the drip tip that comes with LE. Available at luciarda.com, if you didn't know. I think
For all your
some.
vaping needs.
And in there, I got some flying all over the place bottle of juice. Wrecking Ball by
It's flying off
Transistor.
the shelves.
And next, I got my stacked Purge truck with the TM24 Pro Series with the Eclipse cap on there. And in there, I got some Phoenix by Transistor. And then next, I got my overpowered stack with the Sherman 28 on top. And in there, I got some Seductive Sour by Transistor.
Ooh.
That's it for me. Let's go over to Mr. Thick Dick.
What's up? All right, man. I actually have quite a few things for once. So number one, rocking the Nord with some Cuban tobacco in it. My favorite pod system. Then I am rocking a Warlock's Guardian with the OG purple recoil on top with the Flavor Bro flavor cap. And I've got the, Jam Monster mixed berry in there. This stuff is really good. Then I am rocking my badass Vaporwave Bigfoot kit with Strawbeezy. I am also rocking Angela's Bigfoot kit with a Twisted Messes 24 Pro with White Label's Banana Cream. I thought that looked really good on there, so I was like, why not? And I haven't put an RDA on, so. And then finally, I am using the Monarch with the Rebel on top, and I also have Strawbeezy in there. So, yeah. So I will pass it off to Clown.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, so I'm all skunked the fuck out over here. I got the, what is it, Entheon with the Hadian cap on there, recurve. In that, I got the, what is this? I got like a ton of this juice. Fiji melons from Ripe. And another one from Ripe in the, what is it? The Citadel plug combo here. And I'm dropping things. And then I got the, what is the Shogun with the Frankenskull Dealy guy. And I got some cereal. So yeah, that's me. Off to you, Frank.
All right. So for me, LE Dreamer, number 4 of 10 with an LE Lucid. Like me some LE. And on that, that's Vapor Junkie Moon Mist, some Nova Scotia on ice cream.
Nova Scotia.
And also Vindicator with a goon. Kind of like patining. I have to clean it, I know. With some Pony on acid. Pony and acid. And of course, we're gonna wrap some gathering vapor. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So gathering vapor lounge, that's with a TM24 Pro, and with that it's where is it? The Nightshade. Really good stuff. And then lastly, the Me Pod with some Illusions Nirvana. Oh, and I got some vape mail today. It's the Citadel on top of the pug. That's my vape mail today. So yeah, on that, yeah, I got some juice. I won't say the name, but yes, that's my vape mail. So what's in the news, Corey?
Let's see. I think this one is from
We're gonna
the
get shit for that,
lovely
you know that, right?
Miss Angela Garrity. This one came from Tennessee. It looks like Tennessee reports that a statewide proposal of vaping on location bans at specified sites has been introduced to legislation. It looks like they're trying to pretty much a vaping prohibition to certain areas. It looks like it's showing child care centers, healthcare facilities, museums, zoos, youth development centers, public seating areas on school grounds, residential treatment centers for children, community center rooms, group care homes, public and private schools, and several other locations. So my question to that is, what if it's like, okay, say if it's like a zoo or like a museum where like, especially a zoo where they have outdoor areas usually where they have smoking sections. Are they just going to get rid of like, are they going to make those just smoking sections and no vaping, or
No. So right where you stopped, it says some locations on the prohibited list would allow for designated outdoor and indoor vaping areas away from children. They're not getting rid of. They're saying that in specific areas in the state of Tennessee where you cannot smoke, you also cannot vape.
Okay.
But you will have a designated area where you can.
Gotcha. I'm hoping that they don't make them like, because I know a lot of like zoos and like stuff, they make them at like these little quarter parts, right? Like next to the dumpsters, or sometimes it's kind of like a crappy little area to where they have the smokers and vapors be like, okay, we're secluding you from the rest of the world. Well, you want to do your thing. I just don't like that. Like they should make it like, I wouldn't mind if they made it to like a separate room, like made it like an indoor room that's possibly air conditioned. That would be nice. I don't know. That's just me, because it gives people to like, you don't need to stand out in the heat. And I know some zoos, really, I guess zoos and stuff, for my experience, you don't really deal with air conditioned areas because you're outside and they're trying to mimic the environment of where the animals are and all that stuff. So I'm curious of how this is going to work, especially with like on school grounds and everything, seeing all those teachers too that are either smokers, or there's a lot of teachers out there who are vapors, to be honest.
True.
So are they going to they're going to make you go off the property? Because I know from my experience with kind of like companies and stuff, or like legislation areas that are making it to where like they're smoke free, which is including vaping, unfortunately, they have it to where you cannot vape, or where I work at least, you can't vape or smoke on the property, but you can do that in your car. I'm really curious if they're going to actually do that with like, especially like schools and healthcare facilities, where would you have to go in your car and do it? Are they going to still count that for you being on the property or not?
Yeah. Like how far off property do you have to be?
I know. Do you have to go like freaking down the street to like right in front of like a convenience store or something? That just doesn't seem right. If you can go into your own car and do it, that should be perfectly fine. You're not interfering with anybody. You're in your own property, because car's yours. So you're going into your area where it's your transportation, and you're doing what you want to do. That's why I think if they're doing that with schools and everything and healthcare facilities, they should at least let you do that stuff in your car, because you don't have to freaking walk a mile and a half down the road just to either have a vape or smoke a cigarette.
True.
which we're hoping you're having a vape and not smoking a cigarette, because we want you off the stinkies and onto the stuff that will potentially save your life.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that it's so I have 2 kids, right?
Mhm.
I've got one in middle school and one in elementary. And the only reason I know this is because I went to that school, and one of the teachers, he and I used to smoke together. And when he goes to smoke, he just walks off property, smokes, and then comes back. Now, what I don't think it's appropriate to smoke or vape in an area in which there are people under the age of 18, like specifically a school, just for those who are impressionable, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, if I pull up and I've got my windows down and I'm blasting music and I'm vaping my brains out, the kids are going to be looking at that, and they're going to think, oh, okay, this guy's cool, or be intrigued by that. They want to know about it now.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not against educating people, even minors, as to what vaping is, because most of the people that into vaping that shouldn't be are because they just thought it was cool, right? Like, if I knew if I was that age, in that like 12 to 16-year-old range, somebody that seemed cool to me vaping, odds are I would probably vape too, because that's how I started smoking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as hospitals, like, I guess here's the deal: smoking is bad. Like, it kills people.
Yeah.
So, not smoking in or around a hospital, a school, or any public place, I completely understand that. But the issue I have is that vaping gets roped into that as well. Saying, hey, we don't want vaping indoors. We don't want like inside of like business areas, like stuff like that. I understand. It's a place of work, not, hey man, let me show you this like sick jellyfish. Like, yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying I'm for like keeping vaping out of places, but I am definitely for school saying, or for state saying, hey, no smoking or vaping in school, like, or on the property, even as a parent picking your kid up.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just me. That, and it reduces like people throwing their cigarette butts on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could definitely understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so just on that point, little known fact: if a police officer feels fit in the state of Texas, if you're within a 2-mile radius of a school, you can get a $200 fine. Because your boy did that in high school when he was 18. They couldn't get me for truancy, so they got me on that. So
That's crazy.
we
Like,
do have weird
just
laws
smoking
like that.
cigarettes.
Yeah, you can't be within a 2-mile radius of a school.
I live less than 2 miles from where my kids go to school. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If the police officer seems fit, they can give you a $200 fine for smoking near a school.
Well, that's kind of one of those situations, like if you have something dangling from your rearview mirror, they can also give you a ticket for that. But it's like one of those kind of things where if you piss them off, they can't give you a ticket for something even though you didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Texas cops are assholes, like all of them. Especially like where I live, and Clown knows this from firsthand experience.
Yeah,
where I live, and the cops are complete assholes. Like, they will get you on anything.
Where you're at, and then another town like north from me, they are pretty bad.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, guys, by the way, have rules set for, let's say, for example, up to how long or how far you are from, let's say, a doorway, or from a doorway of an establishment, or from a doorway of, let's say, a residential area where you cannot smoke primarily.
Mhm.
Because for us here in BC, it's like, I think 6 feet or 7.5 feet. And then I think for some people in Ontario, it's like 9 feet.
You got
From like the entrance of a building.
25, 30 feet.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because for me, not just as a former smoker, but as a vapor right now, I think regulations like that would help the community be able to have a better name, because check about that they are to aim this not just to keep it away from the kids or to keep it away from the teen vaping kind of thing,
Mhm.
but they're also trying to encourage everyone to not be an asshole and vape where or not vape where you cannot smoke kind of thing, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So with that being said, it's sometimes it's like a real common sense for us vapors not to smoke, or not, sorry, not to vape where you cannot smoke. But for other people it's like, well, I'm outside this mall and then they only say no smoking, but maybe I could vape because they don't say no e-cigarettes kind of thing. Have you seen like a little bit in your area, let's say for example, of those kinds of things happening around your area where people are kind of like interesting, not interesting, but like they not violate it, but they kind of like grow or rationalize where they could vape.
So I think with that, we have a lot of people who like, okay, so for myself, if I go somewhere and it says, hey, no smoke, assume it says no vaping. And I'm not going to vape in there, even though, I could stealth vape in the mall easily. I'm not going to because it says not to. And if I do get caught, then how's that going to look for vaping in general? Because like when I go places, I have a recoil hat on. I have my vape radio shirt on. I have a freaking Vape Life tattoo on my arm. Like there's no way they're not going to know I'm a vapor. So I don't want to bring that negative attention to vaping when we already have so much of it. But I do think people, and they know better, but they'll be like, oh, well, it says no smoking. I can vape, right?
Yep.
And there are a couple places that I have gone. There's a bar 10 minutes from my house that I'll go to because there's a couple bands that play there that I like. And they have like no smoking, no smoking, no smoking. But you go inside and everybody is vaping and it's just because their deck burnt down because somebody didn't put their cigarette out. So he's like, okay, electronic cigarettes I'm fine with, but no analogs, no fire, no combustion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a toss up. Like I've gone to concerts that said no smoking and everybody inside's vaping and nobody cares. And I've gone to concerts where it says no smoking and people vape and they were pulling them out of the crowd. I mean, I don't know. It's easier just to say, hey, no smoking. That's going to include vaping. Like it should just be like no nicotine.
Yeah.
And just encompass all of it together.
Well, I mean, that, and I know, like, I'm kind of on the same principle with you on if it says no smoking, I treat it as no vaping. And a big part of it is also when like vaping was new and clouds was starting to become a thing. We had a lot of people just putting a bad name on vaping, going around stores, blowing huge clouds in people's faces. And I don't want to just keep adding to that.
There's no reason for you to go like to a concert or anything, or like a live event of any sort and start throwing weather systems on other people's faces. It's just, when you're doing that kind of thing, you got to be considerate.
I mean,
it's just like how you were when you were a cigarette smoker.
Well, I was an asshole when I smoked. I really was. Like I'd smoke anywhere, anytime. I didn't give a shit. But with vaping, you have to go about it a lot differently. We have a lot of we have smoking has been negative for the last 60 years. It's been negative. Everybody knows smoking is bad. It smells bad. It tastes bad. Everything about it is bad. But when it comes to vaping, it's so much more accessible for us because it smells good. It dissipates, and then there's no trace of it at all. So I could go and take my Nord and go to Walmart and take a couple puffs and nobody's going to be the wiser. But with like, and I posted this on Instagram the other day, and the sheer amount of people that just don't give a shit about vaping as something that is like sanctified and would rather do these stupid ass tricks like blow a nose out your ass or whatever. Between the people that vape where you're not supposed to and these idiots who want to like blow huge clouds or do stupid tricking crap, it's really a good time. And when I'm sitting on my couch at home, I'll blow some O's, but I'm at home on my couch. This is my dominion. I'm allowed to do that, but I'm not going to post a video of it on Instagram views. I want to be able to post something and say, hey, you know, Tennessee is trying to ban vaping everywhere there's smoking. If people are opposed to that in Tennessee, to be informed. Let the people of Tennessee decide whether or not that's something they want. The four of us can talk about it all day, but none of us live in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's hard to justify another state's actions. In this situation, it's not all that negative, but if it was like a flavor ban, our tunes would be completely different. We'd be saying, no, that's ridiculous. But, you know, I don't know.
It's the idea of regulation is fine as long as it's within reason.
Yep.
I mean, just going straight after flavors, you know, it's one of those things of it's ridiculous, but saying, hey, you know, these areas are public areas, don't vape here. I mean, to me, that's one of those things of it's just common courtesy to begin with, you know, because not everybody just wants to be around it. Or even like my son, like I can't really vape around him because something in the e-liquid does choke him up because he has asthma. So you don't know what everybody's situation is around you, you know? And if you're in a public place, you don't know how it's really going to affect them. Because there are people that are sensitive to some of the ingredients.
Yeah. Like, I can probably speak for all of us. We're all okay with reasonable regulation. I mean, it's pretty much if it's not gonna be something new that comes out and be just no rules on it at all. That's just unreasonable, obviously. So reasonable regulation within parameters of it being something that, okay, I understand that this is justifiable and not something that this is just ludicrous and this shouldn't be a thing because it's morally wrong and you're taking people's rights away. That's what I think all of us can agree on, that as long as there's something where it's in parameters, okay, this is understanding, we can all agree on this. And it's not pretty much taking any rights away from people who are choosing to put something into their bodies. Which, that's what I think needs to happen. It's just the government doesn't seem to be on the same page as all of us.
Yep. And with that being said, you know, I mean, we're the ranty show, but we don't want to be all ranty again. So we have Thick Nick today. Yeah, boy. And specifically when we came to him to be on the show and we want him to talk about things, the one thing that strikes about me is Vape Radio has its 1-year anniversary. Just this what date is it? January 14-ish? Yeah. 1-year anniversary this Monday. So 14. Yeah. So January 14th was Vape Radio's first year anniversary. And dude, I mean, you are one of the pioneers and basically one of the guys who's been in Vape Radio for a long time. So talk about how we started in Vape Radio and how Vape Radio helped you as a person and become like Thick Nick right now.
Okay.
He's always been Thick Nick. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Thick Nick.
So I was I was the first person to be brought on after. So you had Rod and Pablo who created it. Then you had Scotty, Kate, and Cue Ball. that was the, like, when they created it, those who were the people they had in mind. Then I was the first person to be brought on after the launch. So, but I was brought on, like, I don't know, maybe, God, I'd have to look, but like anytime between like now and like February is when I came on. So I'm one of the original, like, I've been here since the beginning. And I was at ECC, and we had gotten done with the show on like that Friday or Saturday, whatever day it was. And we were all going to be meeting at Daily Vape TV's hotel in the front to go to do dinner. It was me, Tenacious TX Vapes, Frames Janklin.
That was when they kidnapped him for the weekend. It was that ECC.
Yeah, that was the first time. It was the first time I met James. And he just, I just met him and was like, "Hey, you're with us now." And I saw Rod and Pablo outside of the hotel, and I told Stan to hold on a second, went over to him, said, "Hey, Rod, you know, hadn't seen him since the last show we had been to together." And he was like, "Oh, hey, Pablo. Hey, man, you got to listen to this guy talk." And I was just like, I was on the spot. So I was like, what the hell is going on? And Pablo looks at me, and Pablo's taller than I am. I'm kind of short. I'm like 5'9", 5'10". And I just say, "Hi, I'm Nick. Nice to meet you." And he goes, "Cool, you're hired." I go, "What? Hired for what?" And I was like, "I'm down for anything as long as I don't have to get down on my knees, man." I said, I got arthritis real bad. So we got home from that convention. I bought a microphone and some headphones and got my little room set up, and I've been DJing for them ever since. And as far as Thick Nick goes, like 6 months into doing Vape Radio, I was tired of being Newbie Nick. So I was like, I want a different nickname. How do I get a nickname? And Pablo was like, "Oh, you get named it." And I was like, "Oh shit, here we go." So Vape Radio Backstage group that's on Facebook. If you haven't joined, be sure to join. They did a poll of what the name should be. And I mean, it was like Sticky Nicky and just horrible things. And
Nicky.
Then for some reason, I won't say it was Rod, but it might have been Pablo, decided that the best name for me should be Thick Nick, because it sounds like thick. Okay. So they dubbed me that. It still shows Newbie Nick on the Vape Radio website, but we have a web person goes, and so that's how I've been Thick Nick, and I just ran with it because it fits me so perfectly, and I like the name. So I've got merchandise that I'm working on right now. So if you want some Thick Nick shirts or koozies or hats, anything like that, you can rock my brand if you want to.
Yeah, boy.
And I mean, I'm still waiting on my Poonsauce McNasty shirt.
Hey,
Yeah,
well,
a Porn Stash McPower Bottom shirt.
That's it. Yeah, I want a Porn Stash McPower Bottom shirt.
He has a vape rag, and he's not sharing it to us, by the way.
because I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet. That's the thing. I got my sample in. I wanted it to be more like how the J-Boy rags are for this guy.
Like a terry cloth?
Yeah, the terry cloth kind of stuff. But it came into one of those microfiber, kind of like a mod polishing cloths, which it came out really good. But I wanted it other, so I'm going to try to look in to see if there's the finished product or what it would look like. I think it looks pretty nice, but I'm not sure if I want to roll with it yet. So I'm still on the edge of it. But it's something I might do down the road. Who knows?
Remind me when we're done, and I'll give you the link to a person who does like towels specific. Her stuff is like they're indestructible towels.
Okay.
So, but they're the terry cloth style. So
okay, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk then.
Ooh,
yeah, because I want to. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to make something because I'm a heavy mech user and I wanted to like get into introduce the crowd of other mech users where I know people use these rags all the time. I mean, I went at a freaking ECC, I had this thing on my freaking belt loop and I'm hanging on my next to my jeans because I'm sitting there dripping up, over drip, take it, wipe it off, done.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it, but that's once I started like kind of doing the whole what I'm doing kind of thing, where it's like I'm trying to create a brand out of myself. It's kind of weird because then I'm only on one show. I'm not a reviewer or anything. But
You're a fucking Omi. That's what you are, bro.
You're a porn stash McPowerbottom. You don't need anything anymore.
That's enough credentials for me.
Yep.
What? That I'm on a show?
No, if somebody was like, "Hey, you need to hire this guy," I'd be like, "Why? Like, why should I hire him?" Well, it's porn stash McPowerbottom. I'd be like, "Get him."
Be like, yeah, I know who that guy is.
Yeah. That's your trademark. And yeah, specifically, another question that I have for you is, so you started Vape Radio, you did your 12 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time with Technic Takeover. That kind, no, not the Tenacious Takeover, who's Stan, but like a Technic kind of like DJ 12 to 6. And
So I call it the Thick Nick 6XL show.
6XL.
So
that is awesome.
I
That is awesome.
yes.
That's glorious.
But I didn't start doing noon to 6. I was on Vape Radio for a while before I actually got my own time slot. I was on nightly from like 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. So I was like super, like I wasn't even showing up on the radar, like because most people are in bed by then. But after doing that for a little bit, I got that message. It was like, all right, you're noon to 6 now on Sundays. I'm like, oh my God, like I am like a quarter of on Vape Radio. This is so awesome. I don't have enough content to do a daily show like as long, like for 6 hours. How Rod and Pablo do theirs, they have it broken up where it's, Rodman and Pablo, and then the Rodman, and then Scotty, and then blah, blah, blah. That I could do if it was like substantially shortened, but like 6 hours is very difficult. I'm scouring the internet for random shit, whether it's music trivia, like celebrity birthdays, who died, what's going on with vaping, what I'm vaping on, and I try to be as like interactive as possible. The audience, I like because what I do is I'll say something like, "Hey, I'm vaping on this Warlock's Guardian. What are you vaping on?" and post it up in Vape Radio backstage, and that way I can see what people are vaping on, and it gives me a chance to because number one, Vape Radio is across the planet. So there are people who are vaping things that I've never even heard of that I would be interested in as a consumer. So it's just it's a cool little like diverse show where I just talk about whatever. Like it's like the Seinfeld of Vape Radio.
True.
When you said that, I just had the Seinfeld music just pop up in my head, and it's just glorious. The way Radley said it's like, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah. So
That's
what?
awesome.
Since you have like a year of experience in Vape Radio, what's some of your favorite memories that you have on Vape Radio? Because I know from the past while, like I mean, Kate, when she was doing her show, Rodman was helping her produce it. So I think from the start, she was on the show because they really do good well on Ohms and Ams. But for you, like, what's the best or what's one of the best memories that you have for when you are in Vape Radio?
Well, there's a couple that come to mind. Number one is being at ECC and being told that I'm going to be a part of this because I knew this was going to be something big, but I didn't know to what scale. And I would say because it's a a internet-based radio. So this is literally all over the planet. Anybody can go to vaperadio.com and listen. So, I mean, there are people like so there is the second one, a Chinese distributor recognized my voice and stopped me to tell me that he listens to me on like his Monday morning on his drive to work. And he wanted to take a picture with me. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, if it was a sales tactic, it worked, but if not, I really appreciate the genuine, you know, hey, I listen to you. You make like my shitty drive to work that much better. That's what I hope to do, you know, make a mundane daily task bearable because I'm going to hang out with you that whole time. My second favorite memory would probably be I did a Halloween episode where I did 31 horror movies to watch, one every day for Halloween. Now, for me, I watch horror movies most of the time, but last year I decided to watch at least one horror movie every day. So last year I watched about 400 different horror movies. Some of them I had seen, some of them were brand new to me. So I took that last 31 days in October to say, hey, watch these in this order. And I did that with Angela, actually. And I thought that was it was a whole lot of fun. That's the beauty of my show. I'll talk about vaping if there's some vaping stuff to talk about. But if not, I'm going to talk about like whatever. So that and Angel, I don't like mumble rap. I don't like most new music in general. And I especially despise like SoundCloud rappers, right? And so constantly through this playlist that I was getting every week, it kept having this Fetty Wap, and it was like 1865 or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this, man? So I Google Fetty Wap, and I was like, oh my God. So there's an episode of the 6XL show where I cannot keep it together. I'm laughing so hard I'm crying because I'm like, this motherfucker has one eye and he's talking about drinking Remy Martin. I'm like,
No way.
Oh my God.
So I mean, I am ripping. And here's the deal. I have probably lost a lot of people because there's people that genuinely think that this is like talent and this is good, and it's not. It's horrible. Like I'm not one to ever shit on anybody's likes, but like SoundCloud, like mumble rap, all this, that's horrible, man. If you want good rap, go listen to NWA, Public Enemy, Ice Cube, Ice-T, Ludacris, Jay-Z,
Yep.
Anything. Jesus Christ, I hate Fetty Wap.
So speaking of the Halloween movie,
Like,
let's take five of your most favorite horror movies, and what are they, and what would you suggest? Because for me, I don't usually watch horror movies. I suck, I know, but
no,
usually I don't watch them, especially alone and at night, because not just I don't have time, but usually I'm kind of like busy all around the place interacting with Discord people. So if anyone could show any horror movie suggestions, or if anyone wants a horror movie suggestion, what would you recommend them?
So you want me to give you my top five? Like my
Top five, or
my top five movies that I would recommend for somebody to get into horror.
yes,
Okay.
the top.
So, all right, starting with number 5, Night of the Living Dead. So this is George A. Romero's first big budget movie. This is what like zombies became a thing. It's shot in black and white. It's paced, but it gets you in the mood. It is definitely a very creepy movie. Number 4, I would say probably like the original Halloween. It's like 1978 Halloween. It's a good introduction. It's a good transition from like the black and white slow pacing to that 1978's like slasher classic, like what really like kicked off the slasher craze. Number 3, try to do something a little bit more modern. God, hold on.
He's gonna have to go look.
So for number 3, I'm going to say Evil Dead. Do you like Evil Dead / Army of Darkness? There is an Evil Dead 2. You don't have to watch it. It's good, but just for time's sake, watch Evil Dead and then Army of Darkness. It's Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. It's got a little bit of comedy to it, but it's violent, it's bloody, but it's fun. Number 2, I would say to like really crank up like at this point now you should kind of get like horror. I would say The Exorcist. It's classic. So like I didn't care for it, but for what it is, I would recommend it because like it is such a pivotal movie for horror. It was scary enough that Time Magazine published an issue that said "God is dead" on the cover. So like it's if you are a religious person, it's going to freak you out. I'm just not that kind of person. But the number one for me,
a lot of controversy.
I think so. Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead is great. It's a comedy horror.
Simon Pegg is awesome.
Oh yeah, dude. Nick Frost is my spirit animal.
Yeah, I know, right? 2 seconds.
Number 1 for me, I'm going to go with now. It is my current all-time favorite horror movie ever. That is Hereditary. It is a 2018 release by Ari Aster. It is his first film. He has a follow-up coming out this year or next year. It is a movie to be watched in complete darkness, volume turned all the way up with no distractions, and it's going to leave you going, what the fuck? And I mean, there is stuff in that movie that I never would have expected. Everything about it is just, from the second it starts, it fills you with such an immense dread, and everything that's going on, you just feel like something bad is going to happen. And it is such a good ride. Basically, there's never been a movie my entire life I have watched where I came home from the theater or I, finished watching and I ever turned lights on and made myself stay awake. That was the first movie to do that. And it is crazy, but it's also really good. Just from a film standpoint, it's really good.
Clown, do you watch any horror movies?
See, I'm weird when it comes to horror. I'm very I don't like any of the supernatural stuff because I grew up with very superstitious parents to where I kind of just laugh at it at this point in my life. Like that movie La Bruja that's coming out. La Llorona that's coming out. I grew up with that, so to me it's a joke at this point in my life. So I can't take those movies serious at any level. Then things for me that I enjoy is more like within the first Saw and the first Hostel were good. The rest of them were just way too cheesy for my liking, but it's kind of within that realm, like hack and slasher movies and stuff. Like saying Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are things I'm into. But even then, I'm more of a comedy kind of guy. So,
Corey.
Yeah.
You watch any horror movies, buddy?
I am a big baby when it comes to horror movies, to be honest. Like, there's some that I like that aren't like too crazy. Like, I like the old Halloweens and all that stuff. Getting like the old Friday the 13th movies. Like, I remember watching, like, my brother's a big horror nut, so he, like, growing up, I watched a lot of horror movies with him. I remember watching the original, the Friday the 13th like TV series with him,
Nice.
where and you watch that and then you watch the movies, you're just sitting there like, what is happening with my life right now? And it was so awesome. And like, I never really got into the whole like Final Destination, Saw, Hostel, where it's just people getting cut up and
Event Horizon
mutilated for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it was
God, Event Horizon is crazy.
Yeah,
like
that movie.
I also like the whole where they bring suspense into horror, like how I saw in chat where the Alien movies were brought up. I loved the Alien movies. They're awesome. They have a little bit of a horror sense to them. I want to start maybe exploring a little bit with horror movies on, like, because I know there's a lot of horror movies on Netflix that I kind of want to get into watching.
I'll take care of you, my sweet baby boy. I will guide you.
And you list.
He's gonna. I'm about to get Christian. Like, and I really like how when you brought up The Exorcist, I really like exorcism movies. Like Exorcism of Emily Rose is probably one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love that movie so much, with the whole suspense of it being like having there's like court cases and all that stuff and like going back in stories like and then that one part where she's in the barn and oh my god, I get chills when like the demonic voice comes out of her, and oh my god, it just gives me chills down my spine every single time, and I love it.
See, here's the thing with me. It's like I agree with LabWorks. By the way, we got to shout out chat for a quick bit. So I see LabWorks in chat, Angela Garrity, and Michelle Lynn. I see you. And we 0609 and LabWorks. And then I see Thickneck in chat as well. And I also see Chad Dawson in chat, Poonsauce _McNasty, and Jacoby Vapes. What's going on, brother? And Clown Vapes.
I just used my adorable food chopper.
I have no words.
This is what I deal with on a daily damn basis, okay? Living at home has its perks, but you have your mom walking into your room saying random stuff like, what just happened right here? See, this is what happens.
With tacos.
I love my mom to death, but she gets a little crazy, and it's funny, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Bring her on the show. You hook her up with Zero.
Bring about your Zero Pod and your other stuff. But yeah, dude, I'm not a horror movie guy for some reason. For the simple reason that I might be into sci-fi movies. So I like Interstellar, or what's this Matt Damon movie where he was trapped in Mars? I forgot. Yeah, Interstellar. Matt Damon. Yeah. And also Inception, those kinds of things. But usually when it's also one reason why I'm not into horror movies is, and no offense to anyone, but it actually makes me sleep for some reason.
It makes you sleep?
Yes.
Or is it like watching it, you're falling asleep?
It's because you're as ethnic as I am, and we grow up with like all these weird superstitions and all these stupid ass stories that your parents tell you when they're pissed drunk at 2 a.m. To where you grow up with it so much you don't care anymore when you're an adult.
Yeah. So sometimes like Exorcism of Emily Rose, like I like that movie, but unfortunately some parts, half of the way, it kind of like slept into it. So
come on.
No, but the reason was, for me, like I tried to stick with the movie. It's just that I don't know, for some horror movies I do sleep. So let's say, for example, The Ring, like the 1, 2, and O. So Sadako was great, but it made me sleep halfway too. So that's why I wanted to go to like a movie marathon with the Stooges. So like go into viewing lounge and then do other watch movies with them that I haven't watched, because last time, like I think the last time I watched with the Stooges was Ip Man 2,
I
3.
love the Ip Man series. I love it.
Yeah, and then I usually don't explore that much movies, not because I don't want to, but sometimes I don't have the time to. So movies, unless I either one watch them on big screen, or two I download them, it's not going to be viewed for me.
So I completely understand. I have I have sleep apnea, so I sleep for
Yep.
like 3 hours a night, and then I just fall asleep during random times of the day. Like from 6 to 7:15, I'm asleep, and there's nothing. I mean, nobody can wake me up. I mean, it's if those of you that hang out in the Discord for Vape Stew, and if Angela's on and I'm not, you could hear me snoring in the background.
She says that, but we don't hear it.
We don't hear.
Her sensitivity is turned way down.
Oh God, thank God, because it sounds like a tornado and a freight train having sex in the back of a dumpster. Like, it's horrible.
I had to go on Pornhub to watch that, to be honest. Let's be honest here.
So hey man,
to see what kind of like visuals you get from them. Like, I didn't know they could bend that way.
So I dropped a link in chat in the YouTube chat, and there's a YouTube couple people, whoever, whatever, called Crypt TV, and they make horror shorts, and they will do like between 1 to 5 minute chapters of different things, so it makes them very easy digestible bites. One of the ones that when people say I don't like horror or nothing scary or anything like that, I dropped this on them, and it's called The Thing in the Apartment. It's a 13.5-minute like short film, and they continuously add on to it. Recently, they just announced that everything that happens in like all the shows that they show on Crypt TV all exist in the same universe. So like they haven't done a part 3. The supercut is chapter 1 and 2. Which is what I posted. They haven't done a part 3 yet, but in another series that Crypt TV does, they reference the things that happened here. So it's a really cool. Yeah, Angela knows what's up. It's a really cool, just real short. If you have 15 minutes to spare, watch it. It's really terrifying, and basically like. So Frank, like I understand what you're saying. I like to find things that scare me, and that's really, really hard because I'm a logical person. So with horror movies, generally you have an introduction, and then you have you're supposed to have like slow buildups and then a payoff. There's certain ways that directors do horror movies to be able to kind of like misdirect what you're supposed to see. Like, so you got the classic, like guys brushing his teeth, looking in the mirror, bends down to spit, comes back up. And then there's something behind him, everybody knows that. What these guys do is they are good at misdirecting. So it's like, oh my God, I heard a noise, and the music's building up. You're waiting for the scare, and then nothing. And then when you don't expect it, it's like right there, and it's terrifying. So watch it. It's really good, very well made, shot by 2 guys. Basically, the cool story here with them is they were given a bunch of money to go to college to become film students. And they said, screw that. Let's take this money, buy equipment, and start our own company. And they did. So, but yeah, Crypt TV, my seal of approval.
Ooh. Now I want to watch more.
I'm gonna have to put my wife on that and see how she feels about it. She's like you guys. She'll watch just anything horror, and like half of the time I just put on headphones or something.
It's good. I mean, like movies like Saw I watched all 8 of them because I wanted to
like
watch
I said,
the
one was
story.
good, but the rest of them
Like,
were
but Hostel, I despise that movie because it's not scary. It's just violent. It's abusive to like humans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I want to watch that, I'll just turn the news on. You know, I mean, it's
that's actually where they got the story from. Was something they read that was going on in Taiwan.
oh god,
That's crazy.
chuck up another reason why I don't go anywhere international. I'm like, I get nervous just going down the street, but I hope that helps, Frank. I hope that kind of gets the horror juices flowing.
It will, because I'm the guy that likes some curiosity, that some movie that sparks my curiosity, and then I also like some things that would make me feel the thrill, like those adventure, exciting movies. But now that I'm learning more about horror movies, it's like it makes me want to watch more of them. So horror movies, you're going to be right up my alley in a couple of moments after the live stream.
Oh yeah, for sure. That, and if you like suspense, and Corey, I think you'll like this. Corey, did you say you watched Event Horizon?
No, I haven't seen
No,
that.
no, it was Clown. Okay, so Event Horizon and In the Mouth of Madness are both have Sam Neill, who is the main character from Jurassic Park.
Mm.
Watch one of Event Horizon is a sci-fi horror, and In the Mouth of Madness is a modern horror. Both of them are excellent. John Carpenter, who also did Halloween, did In the Mouth of Madness, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure he did, but both of them are really good, and both of them have thrill and suspense as well as horror elements. Event Horizon is just a whole lot more violent.
Oh yeah.
Now that's another one.
Morpheus.
That's another one
Oh,
I
yeah.
will be watching. That
Never remember his real name. Lawrence Fishburne. He's so young in that movie.
Have you seen him in Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Yeah, I've seen. I remember
What?
Cowboy Curtis. Yeah, that's where he started.
Yep.
Sounds like a male stripper name.
Recommendations, by the way. Males.
Cowboy Curtis.
Do you have any movie recommendations, Corey?
Let's see. Movie recommendations. I'm trying to think of anything new I've seen that I haven't
Yeah, not necessarily horror, but any movie recommendations.
This turned into the movie cast real quick.
I'm trying to think.
You knew it was going to.
I mean, with my whole being sick, everything this past week, I've been binge watching a lot of craziness on Netflix and Amazon Prime, just a pastime because I'm sitting there sick and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch movies all day. So I was rewatching a lot of older movies that I enjoyed. I was rewatching the original Hellboy, which I freaking love. I can't wait till that new one comes out. I'm super stoked to see what they do with the effects that they can do now. Because Hellboy is always going to have that comedy feel to it, because he's a sarcastic asshole, and I love it. And bringing the whole mythical, demonic kind of things in with superhero kind of stuff is why I enjoy that kind of thing. Because I really enjoy those kind of movies, to where I watched the original 2 Mummies movies too, because I enjoy the movies that bring back ancient times and all that stuff, where it's you get the beginning, you get a flashback of something that happened 1,000 years ago, and then you go back into the present day and they're discovering things. I love those kind of movies, so I'm trying to explore my horizons on more movies like that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to speak of the third Mummy, because compared to the other 2, it was a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah. Clown, any movie recommendations? By the way, welcome to Amsterdam, where we talk movies.
I don't know.
I'm kidding.
Like I said, I'm more like a comedy guy. In my late teen years and early 20s, I was really big into Kevin Smith movies. Talking of movies that just fuck with humans and they're not really actually horror. Tusk, I still think it's a pretty good movie. I stand by it.
Tusk.
Yeah. And Yoga Hosers, which is supposed to be part 2 of that, I thought that was great. If you
Yoga
haven't-
hosers.
Yeah, it's called Yoga Hosers because it takes place in
Ooh.
Canada.
Canada?
Yeah, in
What?
Canada.
Is there a flying moose in there?
Is there
They ride a flying moose in it,
and their mounties?
and they have a
Yeah,
Johnny
movie
Depp
recommendation?
rated movies.
Yeah. One movie recommendation that I have, and if you haven't watched it, last movie that I kind of watched on the big screen was Aquaman. Dude, if you have, in case you haven't,
good.
in case someone is living under a rock, Aquaman's good. Nicole Kidman was good. And then, dude,
He's just freaking gorgeous. I'm sorry.
yeah. And then
Freaking
it's
beautiful.
it's also a good story. And Aquaman, who doesn't love Aquaman? And especially Jason Momoa, dude. But yeah, we're getting
Jason Momoa is the guy I strive to be
yeah.
in my dreams.
Oh, with the
Just the
muscles.
long haired, freaking buff badass.
You need a very
Yeah,
heavy
like,
tan,
just-
bro.
Yeah, and I'm working on it.
Long hair, tattoos, dude. Who doesn't love Jason Momoa?
And like for me, Aquaman renewed my faith in DC movies.
Yes.
Because if they can make movies like Aquaman, they can have that movie compete with Marvel movies, I think. With how well it was done. Just how action packed it was. The effects were phenomenal. Like
it is.
seeing it blew me away. It blew me away. It really did. Like when I saw Venom 2, Venom was freaking awesome.
Yeah, that was a good
Ooh,
one.
I really enjoyed that. I'm a big like Marvel DC nut when it comes to like the comic books, the superhero movies, all that fun stuff. So like Avengers Endgame, I can't wait for that. And then just announced they did the new Spider-Man movie, which the actual writers of that movie announced that movie actually takes place after Endgame.
Yo.
So it kind of opens your eyes to what the hell is going to happen in Endgame.
Oh well, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
There's
you know what's going to happen, but I want to see what plays out for that to happen. Is what's going to really like rattling in my head, because after I watched Infinity War in the theater, I left that movie like my eyes were bugshot. Like I was speechless. I was walking out of there like, what just happened?
I mean, that's
Like I sit there, I need to sit there and just bang my head against the wall, realizing what did I just go through?
so like
I went through an emotional roller coaster.
I read the comic book back when, not when it came out, but shortly thereafter. So I knew what was going to happen in Infinity War. But so like, okay, in the comic book arc, Civil War, how they did Captain America Civil War, in the comic book arc, Captain America gets assassinated, and Bucky becomes the new Captain America until Marvel brings him back. Besides the fact that everybody and their dog knows that Marvel is not just going to put to rest almost all of their IPs and start with new characters, they're just not going to do that. They're going to bring everybody back and then have whoever's ready to retire or trade their life for whatever. But Michelle specifically just said, "What do you think is going to happen?" This is I'm gonna call it right here. Okay, so spoiler alert, I guess.
Well, it's not even out yet. How can you say?
No, for Infinity War. War. But there is a part where Doctor Strange gives Thanos a Infinity Stone, and Tony Stark is like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "It has to be this way."
There's only one outcome.
Right.
For
out of 14 million different scenarios, there's only one outcome in which everything is okay, where everybody lives. Now, what we have to remember is that Thanos is truly a humanitarian because he doesn't want the galaxy to die from overpopulation. That's why he did what he did. So his heart is in the right place. It's that his actions were shit. So what's going to
He's
happen.
not that good on the execution.
Yeah, the execution needed some work. But I really feel so. So Red Skull shows up as the guardian of the Soul Stone, right?
Yeah.
So coming from a logical standpoint, matter cannot be created nor destroyed. So it gets stored in the Soul Stone. And that's even explained in the comic books. So you have literally all of Earth's mightiest heroes in the Soul Stone. And so it's going to be a lot of like magic based stuff. So like you've got like characters that haven't introduced, like Adam Warlock. That's also they only teased him at the end of one of the Guardians movies, I think.
The second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's besides like Sentry, that's like one step below God tier. So I mean, it's just going to be a lot of like just magic. Like I don't think Endgame is going to be as good as any of the other Marvel movies because they have to now redo undo what they did and bring back these heroes so they can be around for their sequels. And it's a toss-up. It'd be one thing if it was like, hey, we're actually going to kill Spider-Man. Well, they're not. I mean, after Homecoming came out, they said, hey, we're going to do a sequel. Well, when they announced Infinity War, I was like, okay, well, at least half of these people are going to, and then they're going to come back at some point for the future. That being said, though, I mean, Marvel isn't one to not like. All we know, Far From Home could take place technically after Infinity War, but it's happening in the mind of Peter Parker in the Soul Stone. You know, because like out of
Don't
nowhere,
mess with my head like that, man.
Well, the reason I say this is the villain for Far From Home is Mysterio, who has no powers, but he is a theater like hand. So like he knows how to create a The only other two villains that I was able to identify was Sandman and Hydro Man.
Yeah.
So I mean, just from this Homecoming was done, it's like, okay, you know, Peter Parker got bit by a radioactive spider. He has superpowers, but the villain is just a guy in a suit, right? Like Iron Man. Like that can make sense. Then all of a sudden having two elemental beasts and then some guy who's like a stagehand, like, you know, I mean, Marvel could go very dark with Endgame. Like they could kill off Tony Stark. They could kill off and keep these people killed off, and that everything is just happening in their own mind. I doubt that that's going to happen because they would lose so much money, and that unfortunately storytelling takes a back seat to making sure that they get those $1 billion like revenues.
Yeah. And that's movie cast for everyone. We're Ohms and Amps, and we're signing off. I'm kidding. Yeah, but dude, I just want to thank Corey, of course, for being here, and especially Nick Garrity. So,
Anytime.
dude, thank you for
Anytime, sir.
doing this again all the time, dude. Like, we love you here on the show, and we love you also in and out of Discord, and especially Vape Radio. So, with that being said, any sign-offs for you, buddy?
For who,
For
buddy?
me or Corey?
For Nick, sorry.
Be sure to listen to Vape Radio all the time, 24/7, 365 at vaperadio.com. If you don't have a web browser, you can also download the app for Android. You can't do it for iTunes because Apple doesn't like us. You can listen to it the Safari. I am on from noon to 6 every Sunday Central Standard Time, and you'll be able to hear me tomorrow. And like I always say, guys, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, but most importantly, keep on vaping.
Yeah, buddy.
Nick's
Sign off,
freaking radio voice gives me a chubby. I don't know why, but it's awesome.
It is.
Okay, yeah. Well, guys, thanks. A good time being on here, and I always have a blast being on here with you guys because we're just shooting the shit for an hour, and it's great. Yeah. Maybe with the Omies, me and Clown, along with 4 other Omies,
There's 6 of us total.
just hang out for you. Our experience. You can do the math. Good for you. But yeah, we're on every Mondays, 7 p.m. Central Time, and yeah, we're on Frame Janklin Vapor channel, and wow, I'm like losing my train of thought right now. God damn it. Okay, yeah, Vaping with the Omies, Mondays. Be there, be square. I don't know. Signing off. Bye.
Clown.
Yeah, Clown Vapes. I have my own channel. Check it out. I talk a lot of smack the whole time. I feel like I do, honestly. Like, it is one of those weird things of, like, I started doing reviews out of nowhere, and jumping into it is kind of like one of those weird things. But yeah, so then we're here on Vape Radio. And then what else? Vaping with the Omies, yeah. Like as Mr. Poonsauce McPowerbottom put it. We do that, what is it? 7 p.m. my time. So if you're Central Standard, you're doing it at 7 p.m. And yeah, we're on Frames Janklin Vapors channel. All right. So yeah, that's me. Oh yeah, check out clownvapes.com. I was forgetting
For all your vaping needs.
Yep.
So to close, follow us on Instagram. That's Frank Wolfbite at Gmail. No, Frank Wolfbite, and then clownvapes_SEFC, and then thickest_Nick on Instagram, and Poonsauce_McNasty on Instagram. And if you have any comments, suggestions, email us at frankwolfbite@gmail.com and clownvapes@gmail.com. Lastly, we are on Vape Radio every Saturday. That's 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Central, and every Sunday, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific, with replays on soundcloud.com/wolf_bite. And remember,
You got all auto-tune there.
Auto-tune, jeez. T-Pain over here.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.